0, 1.
Let's get started.
Why they stopping me?
Bye, crypto bro.
What's going on, crypto world? It's that guy again, Ball Deep Crypto, coming at you with another Velo piece. You already know I love them stellar rails. Velo's the business in my mind, slept on. That's why I'm going to talk about it. Before we get into it, Ball Deep Crypto is not a financial advisor. He's just a guy talking to a computer about what he's into, what he's doing. What you do with your money is your decision. This is not financial advice. That being said, let's get into it. As you can see here, we got a post from Marco. If you're not following him, give the man a follow. Be dropping good knowledge. Appreciate what he does. Now he's talking about what we're going to basically do a preference here is who Velo is, who they are, and who they're running with, obviously. Now how Velo, Lightnet, and Asia's billionaire networks are quietly rebuilding the financial system. Let's dive in. Chadaval, I'm not going to try and say the last name, apologies. He comes from the CP Group dynasty, one of Asia's most powerful family conglomerates with investments across telecom, finance, retail, agriculture, and tech. That gives him access to 1 billion plus customers across Asia. But he's not just an investor. He's building the next generation of financial infrastructure. Lightnet and Velo, the Ripple Stellar connection. Founded in 2018, Lightnet was designed as a blockchain-based remittance network, a direct challenger to SWIFT and Western Union. It leverages decentralized systems for instant cross-border payments, fully integrated with Stellar XLM. Parallel to that, he founded Velo Labs, built on top of Stellar to provide tokenized assets, stablecoin infrastructure, and DeFi payment rails. In 2021, Velo acquired Interstellar, Stellar's commercial arm founded by Jeb McCaleb, Ripple, and Stellar's co-founder, making Velo effectively the Stellar-based Ripple of Asia. You've heard that before. Love that name. Its partnerships are Visa with the payments network, Paxios, stablecoins, and tokenization. We talked about Paxios between South America and them, that connection, those rails. Chainlink, obviously the Oracle infrastructure, and the CP Group, which is a massive business network across Asia. Now with the Orbit Group and Universe DEX, nearly 500,000 users, Velo already operates a full DeFi payment ecosystem. That is beautiful. Bitcoin Treasury via DV8. In July of 2025, he became chairman of DV8's Public Company Limited in Thailand. His plan, turn DV8 into a Bitcoin treasury company. Bitcoin, like a Southeast Asia version of MicroStrategy, but it goes further. DV8 will also invest in DeFi banking, tokenized finance, and digital asset infrastructure across Southeast Asia. Here's the master plan. Velo, with Stellar infrastructure, would be Asia's Ripple. Lightnet would be the payment rails and remittances. DV8 would be the treasury and institutional bridge. Fortune would be the narrative control, and he would be the connector of TradeFi, DeFi, and media power. Everything points towards a fusion of traditional finance, tokenized assets, and decentralized payment networks, led by an Asian market powerhouse ties to Ripple, Stellar, and Chainlink. The fundamental strength, Velo isn't a random altcoin. It's a financial infrastructure project, Stellar-based settlement layer, acquisition of Interstellar, obviously, which was a Stellar project that they sold to them. Partnerships with Visa, Paxios, CP Group, and Lightnet are huge. Real-world use cases would be remittances, tokenization, and DeFi banking. And it's backed by one of Asia's wealthiest dynasties, the CP Group, who are very large, who own all of the 7-Elevens in Thailand. Velo's fundamentals are stronger than 90% of tokens with similar market caps. Its tokenomics, the sell-off was inevitable. 75% of the supply is already in circulation. I know a lot of people don't like that. I actually prefer that because once it's out, you're going to have supply, demand. That's when the real pressure starts. Token inflation pressure is dropping fast. Now, once the last allocations are at, there's minimal sell pressure left. Organic price recovery follows. I agree. And major players, obviously CP Group, Lightnet, Velo Labs aren't panic selling. They're consolidating and restructuring the ecosystem. Yes, the chart looks ugly, but this is exactly the kind of pre-catalyst accumulation zone you look for in fundamentally strong projects. Supply almost distributed equals reduced pressure. Fundamentals improving, asymmetric upside, and media exposure via Fortune, Lightnet, and McCaleb would be narrative expansion. Every time Velo traded below 1 cent, it marked accumulation before the next expansion. Now what comes next? Velo plus Lightnet expanding across Southeast Asia and MENA. DV8 Group integrating BTC Treasury and DeFi banking. Ripple and Stellar narratives gaining traction with ISO 222 regulatory frameworks. It's a perfect midterm setup once liquidity returns to layer 1 and the payment narrative. The price isn't the value, it's the reflection of market liquidity during transaction. Fundamentally, it's a strong network with real partnerships, token distribution nearly complete, and institutional narrative forming if you think long tier. This is the diamond in the dust phase for Velo. Completely agree, Marco. We're going to talk about Velo and their integration with EVOLVE RWA and what it is. As you can see here, a couple posts here from Velo. Congratulations, EVOLVE. And EVOLVE RWA, obviously talking about it before. Let's do a slight little deep dive. EVOLVE RWA is a multi-asset, multi-chain RWA asset tokenization initiative co-developed by institutional consortium partners in Hong Kong and Thailand. It focuses on tokenizing income-generating assets, including ESG real estate, special situation properties like green retrofits, green energy infrastructure, EV fleets, battery swap and charging networks, and alternative RWAs, private credit, and fixed income structures. With the portfolio exceeding $50 million across 12 properties in 3 countries, primarily targeting Southeast Asia's Belt and Road corridors. So obviously it's plugging into what Stellar does, what Velo does, obviously with the tokenization of these assets and the bridging of it. Now, the integration with Velo protocol involves embedding Evolve's tokenized RWAs into Velo's Orbit Plus super app, a unified platform developed in collaboration with Lightnet Group. This provides a PayFi, payments and finance ecosystem for on-chain issuance, trading, settlement, and automated yield distribution of tokenized assets, starting with APAC markets and emphasizing liquidity for traditionally illiquid assets like real estate and sustainable infrastructure. Obviously, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. What does it do for Velo's ecosystem? The integration enhances its PayFi infrastructure by enabling real-time settlements and seamless conversions between tokenized RWAs, stablecoins, and fiat currencies across regulated rails. This bridges tokenized assets with Velo's stablecoin ecosystem, improving liquidity, market efficiency, transparency, and capital accessibility, particularly in underserved Southeast Asian markets, while supporting frictionless cross-border value transfers. For RWA potential, it unlocks liquidity in high-value but illiquid assets by transforming passive capital into dynamically managed, technically driven portfolios. This fosters broader global investor access for retail and institutional users. It drives financial inclusion and scales RWA adoption through compliant A-lot enhanced tokenization for transparency and scalability, with initial focus on ESG and green infrastructure to generate income and value in emerging economies. So they're bringing value. 50 million seems small over 12 properties, but every little bit counts. That for such a small company, I guess 50 million, you want to say it's small. I would say that's not small. But when you're talking about tokenization of assets and moving of assets, it's not a large amount. But they do see the value and the money that they can save and potentially bring this and build this into something more. So Evolve, shout out to you for getting in with Velo. Hopefully this works out for everybody involved. That's a little bit of an overview of who Velo is, who started it, who they are, who they play with. They are a very large player, very smart player, very heavily connected. And they run with a lot of big companies, CP Group, Stellar. I mean, it's a great thing to see. That's why me, the current price, not financial advice, is always a player. I'm a very big fan of Velo. I can be patient with it. I actually prefer it to be cheap because I'm a cheap ass and I'm a poor person. So cheap means I can get a lot more. So, you know, I just wish that my payday was already today, but it's not till the 5th. So when the 5th comes, know what your boy's doing. He ain't scared. You know, I could be completely wrong. I could end up being completely right. That's the game, right? Let's play it. Roll the fucking dice. That's all I got for this video. I want to thank you for your time. Time is money. You chose to spend it here. Hopefully you got some value out of it. I hope each and every one of you have a great day. And like I always say, chase a check, never chase a bitch.
Bye, crypto bro.